to go through what you said, and I want to talk to you about this hopefully in a calm manner to try and understand what you were thinking. So on Saturday evening, hours after the shooting, you said, let me clarify, when I say conflicted, what I mean is I lean towards seeing it as a natural extension of the thing Trump and the MAGA kids support. So I don't think I have much sympathy about the attempt enough to chastise people celebrating it. You couldn't find it in your heart to chastise people for celebrating the near assassination of a man who was president of the United States and maybe again?
Is he responsible for that?
Absolutely not. Conservatives have completely bled that well dry, and the idea that they, after engaging in the most divisive and most extreme rhetoric that this country has seen in recent history, that they would come on and beg for sympathy, that it's escalated into some kind of violent confrontation, is absolutely insane. Even the idea right now of saying, well, if you call somebody a Nazi for so long, it's, what do you expect people to do? I grew up listening to Rush Limbaugh call Obama a communist every single day he was on the radio. You've got conservatives.
He was a communist. He wasn't born in America. They said it over and over and over again. People were putting up gallows with caricatures of Obama getting hanged, yet now, and this is the same people.
And doesn't condemn them at all.
No one condemned them. No one wanted you to do shit about that. But now, we must care? I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not responsible for giving a fuck about what happens to people that I don't like. You understand that? I'm a free human being in these United States. I do not have to care what happens to you. Do you understand that?
And not caring about what happens doesn't mean that you're actively trying to harm anybody.
Right, or hoping that'll happen,
right.
Or directing it to happen.
You just don't care.
I'm minding my business.
It's in God's hands now.
Right.
It's above me now.
Right.
On some shit like that. Like, it's just like,
right.
I'm not
You's an asshole.
Right.
So whatever the people do to you, they do to you. Right. I didn't do it. I didn't tell them to do it. It's not my responsibility. Why is it that there's such an outcry against him not giving a fuck?
Right.
Why should he care?
It doesn't do anything. It doesn't.
What are you talking about? Fucking Biden is caramelizing before our very eyes. Mm-hmm. He's fucking turning into dust as we can see him. Yet, do Republicans care? Oh no, do you feel sorry for him? No, you don't.
Right.
You don't give a fuck. So why should I? Stop fucking playing with me.
About how the mRNA vaccines were ways to sneak microchips into us. You've got COVID lockdowns that were done because the government was trying to take all your freedom away. They won't acknowledge anything that happened on January 6th.
Explain that one to me.
Say that the election was stolen and that your country is being taken.
Explain that one too.
Like, I don't think anybody should be killed. I don't think anybody should go out and kill anybody. But when you engage in this type of rhetoric and when you turn the temperature up over and over and over and over again, there is absolutely no room for you to say
people will act.
There certainly isn't room for you to ask for sympathy.
But you say you say you don't.
He didn't do the act.
And yet you say, I don't think I have much sympathy about the attempt to chastise people celebrating it. People celebrating the near assassination of Donald Trump. If you can't find it in you to chastise people who do that, aren't you just as despicable as the people you've just spent the last 2 minutes?
No, he's not. It's a logical fallacy.
No, because they've led the way.
Exactly.
This is the environment that they've created.
So you think behaving like the people you think are despicable is the correct course of action?
Not about behaving like the people who are despicable would be leading that type of rhetoric.
Exactly.
Leading that type of rhetoric.
He didn't do
denying
anything.
Every single bad thing.
See, the problem is that Piers is focused on creating a false equivalency. Mm-hmm. That's what he's trying to do, and that's a logical fallacy. You cannot say that because let's use a regular real world example. If somebody attacks me outside with a knife, right? And I pick up a knife and I smoke them, right? Legally, I'm allowed to do that because that's self-defense, even though I did back to them exactly what they did to me. Mm-hmm. Do you understand that? Use your brain. If you start the fight with using rocket launchers and eventually I find a rocket launcher and use it back on you, what are you crying about? You started this shit. You started the problem, now fucking live with the results. Stop playing with me, bro. It's nonsense. It's fucking foolishness. It's crybaby bullshit. Get the fuck out of here. No way.
As a liberal, how many times as a liberal have you been on a show, not you in general, but like a liberal been on a show and you've been forced to disavow all of the BLM riots?
Just so we're clear, BLM riots, that's factually inaccurate. The vast majority of protests ended peacefully. Therefore, there were some riots during the BLM protests, not BLM riots.
Right.
That's what conservative racists say.
Right.
Keep your facts together.
A lot of the times, I think BML was just marching in the streets.
They on bullshit. And it's talking about, then they start talking about BLM as an organization, as if you can't want better for your people separate from the corruption of a particular organization. Again, stop fucking around.
And we have every right for peaceful protesting.
Exactly. That motherfucker in the Constitution too. Mm-hmm. What are you talking about? You people are stupid. You are.
Disavow all of the violence and blah, blah, blah. And then you talk to conservatives about January 6th.
Okay.
That's good. January 6th. Oh, like conservatives disavow January 6th?
And here we are. Now, what I want to hear is that if you want Destiny to be sorry that somebody did something to Donald Trump, a conservative, mind you, a registered Republican, then you need to disavow January 6th. Do it. Let me hear you say it. Because that was treason of the highest order. So let me hear you say it. If you don't say that, you continue to say it's a false flag, it's Antifa, it's all this other nonsense. You out here approving pardons for fucking treasonous motherfuckers, and you want to tell me that I should feel sorry that somebody did something to him? You've lost your mind. You're crazy.
It's crazy how they can sit here and say BLM was riots. Meanwhile, they had people with pitchforks, torches, and
they erected a gallows outside of the fucking government building.
Swastikas.
With the vice president's name on it.
And yet Trump said, oh, these are good people. Good people?
Right.
So you don't condemn people with pitchforks?
He has never condemned what happened on January 6th.
Nope.
Yet, first of all, I would argue that he's responsible for that. Yep. Legally, for inciting it. Yep. Even if you want to argue he didn't, we can quibble over semantics on words. But what they did, regardless of who sent them, is absolutely unforgivable. We live in the United States. Let me tell you something. Many presidents have been assassinated or tried to be assassinated.
Yep.
When was the time that fucking roaches overran the fucking government building to stop an election from going forward?
Yep.
When did that happen?
Yep.
When did a president claim an election was stolen and actively try to steal it himself?
That's crazy.
Make that make sense to me. Intimidating fucking people on the phone. We know you did that shit. He didn't do nothing, right, though? And we should feel sorry when someone does something to him. These people are talking about, he tried to say, oh, well, if you keep calling him a Nazi, if you keep calling him Hitler, then eventually you're turning up, you're doing what we're doing, and you're eventually going to cause someone to do something to him. Except for when you do Hitler shit, we're going to call it out. That's not us putting the label on you. You're doing it.
And you're
doing it.
He's using rhetoric that riles up the people, incentivizing that he wants action to be taken. Henceforth, him saying, oh, if we lose, it's going to be a bloody massacre. There's going to be violence. We're going to take it back. First of all, when did the United States get taken? That's my question. You only think that
our country's being taken from us.
You only think it's taken by the people that are in it. And these people live here. We live here.
Until you motherfuckers disavow January 6th, until you show me evidence that the election was stolen and that you're not just fucking lying, stop playing with me. I don't want to hear it, bro. I don't want to hear it. I don't care.
Wait. First off, there's an entire cultural machine.
So rewind it, because I've seen now. We like Stevie Knight. We're a fan of Stevie Knight's channel. But I watched him watch some of this, and then when this moment happens right here that I'm about to replay, I was confused. Like, wait, what happened? I'll explain to you what happened.
The letter would be leading that type of rhetoric. It would be denying every single bad thing. How many times as a liberal? How many times as a liberal have you been on a show? Not you in general, but like a liberal been on a show and you've been forced to disavow all of the BLM riots, disavow all of the violence, and blah blah blah. And then you talk to conservatives about it. January 6th. That was
that's
false
good.
flag.
Yeah.
January 6th. Oh, like conservatives disavow January 6th?
Wait. First off, there's an entire cultural machine that has lied.
Still can't do it.
There's an entire
we just saw it in real time. That's it.
What?
Still can't do it.
He told you to disavow January 6th. You were just bitching about how, disavowing violence. That's good. They overran the fucking Capitol building, brother.
And won't
to try and stop a change of power. What is this, Game of Thrones? What are you doing? That is illegal. That is treasonous behavior. Yet you refuse to disavow that. He tell him disavow it. He started talking about cultural this and that. What the fuck are you talking about?
You go first. You disavow January 6th, and then I'll disavow what just happened to the president.
Not that complicated.
You can't do it. You can't do it.
We know he can't. He won't. And that's what Destiny said. He said, I tell you what, you disavow January 6th, and I'll agree to disavow what happened here. And I'll say we should condemn people celebrating it. You won't do it, right? I know you won't. Stop playing.
Then changes the subject.
Then shut your mouth. Stop playing.
That's why conservatives deserve absolutely zero sympathy
None.
for anything that happens as a result of their rhetoric.
None.
It's
fucking
so
low IQ
right.
nonsense.
Right.
Okay, but
I'm not exactly sure what he's talking about, but I would say this.
He doesn't know.
Do you need an education class, my dear?
No. He's being willfully and intentionally ignorant.
Yes.
Ignorant. That's what he's doing. Like, when people don't want to answer a question, this is what they do. It's not complicated. It's typical political pussyfooting. That's all you're doing. Yet you want, like, this is actually insane.
Insanity.
This is fucking unhinged. To watch this bullshit. And then you're talking about Destiny's the one who should be harangued over this?
This just goes to show that they have no remorse.
They don't have brains.
Have no remorse.
They don't have brains.
They can't even say, no, this is wrong, and this is not how it should be. And then we continue to move together and progress together as a
country.
Yeah, as a country.
Because I can say that clearly what was done was wrong. You're not to shoot the president or presidential candidates. Is that complicated?
Right.
Everyone knows that. You're also not supposed to break into the Capitol building, threaten the senators in them to stop them from certifying the election.
And I tell you what.
Why don't you say that's wrong? Why can't you say that?
Yeah. And I tell you what, if anybody who was a Republican to come to a liberal party, that wouldn't happen. That would not occur.
I don't see liberals doing that type of shit, to be honest.
Because we're accepting. You guys tell us we're so accepting that it's ridiculous. We're off the hinges with accepting everybody and loving everybody else, but yet we would shoot at a protest?
But we wouldn't, because it was a conservative that did it.
Right.
And again, and one other thing Stevie Knight said that was interesting, and one that I agree with, is that based on what he was saying, I think he's a conservative, but I think he would disavow January 6th. As would most people with brains.
Real humans.
Real human beings. You see, there is, despite what Donald Trump says, there's a very clear distinction between normal members of the Republican Party, conservatives, and fucking insane Trump supporters. There's an absolute divide, for sure. Right? And this shit goes all the way back to, what election was that with the Tea Party? When Romney ran, like 2012 or something like that?
I can't
Yeah,
remember.
they started this, we don't care about what the rules are, we're gonna do whatever we want, and we refuse to compromise on absolutely everything. That's when that bullshit started. This is a natural ending point for that bullshit. Stop fucking playing, bro.
That's not democracy at all.
Listen, overrunning the Capitol building is not democracy, and I don't care what you motherfuckers say. Killing a president ain't worse than that. It's not.
That the internet has broke their brain, thus leaving them with very little empathy for their co-human. I mean, a good, decent father is.
Let's also take it to a logical conclusion, right? If people believe that he is doing Hitler-like activities, would you have sympathy if they sniped Hitler early? No, right? So if that's what they believe about him, then why exactly should they have sympathy for their fellow human, aka a fucking treasonous psychopath? Make that make sense to me. If you want to be a proud American, but yet say that you refuse to disavow January 6th, you're a fucking enemy combatant, is what you are. Ridiculous.
He's now dead because of this. He's had his brains blown out.
Now he's talking about the bystander that got hit.
I would hope that you have a little empathy
Well,
for
actually,
that.
let me jump in there because we have a clip of what Destiny has said about that very thing. Let's listen to this.
Fuck it, fuck the dude, the firefighter guy, fuck Trump, fuck the people that support him. I just want you to know, okay, just in case you're confused or it seems like I'm, whatever. If one of you were in the crowd and you're a conservative fan of mine and you end up, getting blown away or whatever the fuck, I'm making fun of you the next day on Twitter. I am, 100%.
Now, explain to me why that is different than him not giving a fuck about Mr. Donald Trump, right? That's another separate human being who I don't give a fuck about. I'm not required to do that. You understand that by law, if you get hit by a car in the street and I'm standing there, I don't even have to call 911. I can just walk away and ignore you and pretend you don't exist. Do you understand that? I'm permitted to do so. So yet, now something happens to this guy and I should cry about it? People die every day, B. You tough, right? Fuck you talking about? Make it make sense to me, bruh. And he is that person having attended, being at the Donald Trump rally is no different than Donald himself. You agree with him. You believe in him. I think he's guilty of treason. So why exactly would I give a fuck what happens to you? Stop it.
I mean, I gotta say, I just found that repulsive, Destiny.
Shut your ass up.
I wish that there's no room. There is no room for the hand wringing, and I will not participate in this anymore.
It's not hand wringing.
The hand wringing.
No.
It absolutely is.
No, it's just that you are positioning yourself.
So well.
No, but
when
you
you are
Destiny,
in
let me
a
explain
world
to you.
where conservatives can say anything.
No, I'm not a conservative.
They can have any conspiracy theory.
I know, but you're ignoring what they do and what they say.
And then liberals are
All right,
supposed to sit
Destiny,
here and be like,
Destiny,
oh my
no.
God, it's so tragic.
No, Destiny.
Absolutely.
Let me explain.
Absolutely.
Let me explain my position. I'm not a conservative. I'm not on either side in your race, right? Here's what I think about what you did. You like to fire off, as you've done so far in this debate, about your fury at how disgusting Republicans are, how inhumane they are, how they never have any empathy, blah, 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 blah. And then you yourself actually are exactly the person that you're describing.
No, he's not.
You are inhuman. You are...
No, it's not. I'm telling you, if you're inhuman to me and I return that inhumanity, that's not me being inhuman. That's me giving you back what you deserve.
Most gleeful that a young firefighter with a family, with a wife and children, who he was protecting as he was shot dead, that he deserved what was coming to him because he went to a President Trump rally, a man who was president of the United States.
He didn't deserve it, but I'm not entitled to. I don't have to care.
Is that almost gleeful?
Like, make it make sense.
I'm sorry, that makes you, frankly, despicable.
I don't think I'm gleeful about anything. I don't think anybody should die. I don't think anybody deserves to die. But you want to talk about gleeful? Look at the conservative response to Pelosi's husband.
There you go.
I can answer that.
I can answer that. I don't care.
I can answer that.
With all due respect, I don't care what your
Let me answer that.
The reality is that conservatives have been turning the temperature up on the rhetoric. They have been making fun of these types of events for years, and now when something happens to them, now they're looking for sympathy from the liberal side. Absolutely not.
Never.
It's insane. It's unhinged.
Never.
You can conduct yourself in such a manner and expect people to feel sorry when things happen.
Why should anybody on the right listen to a word of your hectoring and lecturing about how they should behave? And by the way, for the record, the mockery of Nancy Pelosi's husband when he was attacked by an intruder with a hammer was also despicable.
Yeah, then what you need to do is when these people pop up and say, oh, they gotta feel sorry for Donald. Look what they did. Look at the bystander. Okay. So then...
where's our sympathy for us?
Replay when Pelosi's husband got attacked. And y'all keying about it on Fox News. Yeah. Make it make sense to me, bro.
Yep.
This is, you know what you people are? You are those kids in school who hit people, then get hit back and start crying and tell the teacher he hit me and refuse to acknowledge that you attacked them first. That's what you're doing. You're a fucking joke.
Biggest
I can see despicable behavior on all sides, and I'm happy to call it out.
Blah, blah, blah.
You, however, want to present yourself as this great kind of standard bearer of decency who sees outrageous behavior.
All right, enough of this. He's not the standard bearer of decency. He's just telling you that whatever you do, you will face the consequences for it.
Yeah.
And if someone do something to you, you're an asshole. If someone do something to you, I certainly will not care. And that doesn't make me wrong. If you're going to tell me about a car accident that happened in Montana, I live in New York, I'm going to say I don't care. Not because they deserve to die or they weren't valuable human beings. That's nothing to do with me. Yep. So stop it. And to be honest, I probably would care more about that guy than I would about what happened to Donald. Because he actually didn't do anything wrong. Let me count the ways that Donald Trump needs to end up in a fucking jail cell. Huh? I never heard of anybody who could run for government office with 30 felonies. You can't work anywhere with one felony.
Let alone be president.
But with 30 you can?
Against the rules.
With 30 you can?
This is crazy.
Miss me with the bullshit, bro. If your IQ is fucking 6, don't comment on the video. Fuck out of here.